be in the material world, they may or may not be. You know, whether they stay here or not is not really relevant any longer, is it? Now the thing is this, there are those in this world, I believe that there are those in this world that are awakened enough to be here out of a choice to serve, to help others.
Bodhisattvas.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah,
Did you look that up?
Yeah.
sure. Now, that doesn't mean just because they are fully awakened that they're not necessarily here. Don't discount the fact that within creation, we are all here to serve one another. We're all here to help each other.
Yeah, they're here, but not like other.
No, they're not here
in
like
the world,
others.
but they're not of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're here, but
On a whole different level.
Yeah,
It's
somehow.
a whole different experience.
But you're exactly right. That is a very interesting.
Seems pretty literal. It says,
Right.
and then they are seen no more,
Right.
although their thoughts remain a source of strength and truth forever.
In other words, they're not part of the curtain. They're not.
They're not part of the
They're not
illusion.
part of right.
Right, they're not part of the illusion. They're part of reality in that moment. They're part of a different thought system. Remember, the Course talks about two complete thought systems. And so within this, if we said, they're no longer here in the thought system, the
Right.
fear-based thought system. And whether they're here, you know, in physical or not, that's really irrelevant. What's relevant is their experience.
It's a mystery. That sentence right there is a mystery, but I think it's a mystery that we shouldn't try to.
No. Don't try
necessarily-
dissect
Let's not
it
try
too
to
much.
open up that oyster right now. Let's just take it as, because we'll kill the oyster by
And I'm
trying
okay
to
if we
get.
get perfect enough that we just ascend. That's all right.
That's right.
Well, you know what? I would say this. I truly believe that we have a choice when you are at that point where you are no longer, it's no longer necessary for you to be here for your learning experience. You have a choice to leave. You're not forced to remain here. There was a part of me when I had the other experience and I saw creation, I knew in that moment I had a choice to not be here. I'm here out of choice. I know that. There was a time when I was like expanding in my consciousness where I was out of here. I would say I was out of here more than I was here, and I knew I couldn't hold that vibration and still remain in this dimension and let that go to be here. I can tell you I experienced that. I know that I'm here to help deliver whatever and help move the energy, and when that's been accomplished to the degree that I accepted to do and participate in, I won't be here. I don't have an attachment to it. I'm here. If I'm not, I'm not. So be it, whatever, doesn't matter. When everyone else understands who they are, that's all it's about. That's what it's about. And the biggest gift we can give one another, wake up. You wake up. You live it. That's the biggest gift you can give to humanity. And that's what this is. Who are God's teachers? Let's maybe get on to the next...
Well, but just to emphasize what you're saying, sentence 11 there is in the sacred, you know, the curriculum of this curriculum is to work out your own salvation and the salvation of the world.
Yes.
So, what a wonderful privilege. I mean, we're very privileged to even be offered that, you know, to be accepted into this school.
All of humanity. All of humanity has been offered this. Absolutely. Yes.
No, not everyone's had this book in their hands.
Whoa.
Not
Let me
everyone's
say.
had this, you know, a whole evening to devote to this.
No, not everyone is.
No, we're very privileged, I think, to be here in this moment.
Yeah. Well, let me say that all of humanity has this awaiting them.
I don't think we're
Okay.
privileged.
And-
I think
and-
we're ready.
You're ready.
They're
You're
ready.
ready. Absolutely. And this is what Christ talked about 2,000 years ago when he said, "For those who have the ears to hear, let them hear." And when they asked him, "Why you speak in parables?" and he said, "Because for you, it's meant that you understand the mysteries of the kingdom, but for them it's not." This is no different. You're in this room, we're going over this because for you, you have been preparing. You are prepared. This is something you're ready for. I used to tell people, look, I know who you are because I know who I am. I know that you're ready to hear this because I'm speaking. And if I'm speaking, you're meant to hear it in this moment. Or you and I would not connect. You and I would not be in that same presence. When I speak truth and somebody's there, they're meant to hear that. They can accept it or reject it. But it's meant to be. I know that. And I look at you and namaste, I honor who you are, and I know how close you are because you're here. You're ready.
I think that is a sign of God's love. That's what I mean by privilege.
Yeah. No, and I hear what you're saying,
we should be very grateful for this
Oh,
opportunity.
you should be. Everyone should be grateful for everything they're experiencing. Yes, and I see where Peggy's going in the sense of no one is special, and in terms of yes, be grateful. Yes, but don't discount the fact that everyone else in the entire planet is not just as worthy and special as you, because everyone here is all equal. All equal. Now, one of the things that Christ talked about, and Jesus talked in this manual, Jesus says, in terms of eternity, everyone's equal. In terms of this dimension, equality does not equate. And that kind of what Chris is talking about. He's recognizing at this moment that he is experiencing something and preparing for an experience and feels privileged that, yes, I'm here.
Who was
I
that
got
girl?
it.
Amanda, that woman that used to be here? Didn't she have a whole thing about gratitude?
Gratitude is everything. In
That's
terms
what
of,
that's what I'm
yes,
trying to say.
be
Yeah.
grateful. Be grateful for every moment. And remember, we spent a long time covering the laws of the manifestation of experience and creation. And remember that this moment that we're here, here's the moment. Gratitude. Gratitude for what? Gratitude for experiencing the reality of what is. I'm grateful for that. That's the energy I just put into motion. The Course would say, I'm teaching myself. I'm teaching myself what? I'm teaching myself that I am awake. And I'm grateful to be awake. The energy you put out is the reality of experience, right? So one of the most beneficial things that you can hang on to is, yes, be grateful. Be grateful.
Live every day in an attitude of gratitude.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Before you go any further though, getting back to that sentence that they are seen no more,
Mm-hmm.
I look at the rest of that sentence, although their thoughts remain a source of strength and truth forever. And when I hear teacher, the first thing that comes into my mind is Jesus. And, the strength and truth forever, I mean, just what he said, what he talked about, that's what it's all about.
Completely agree with you.
Absolutely. Thoughts are infinite. You have a thought and let it go. Don't think that thought doesn't have a life. That thought has an infinite life. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your vibration, everything, every bit of energy you put into the cosmos exists forever. Now, we're not going to get too deep into that right at this moment, because there are infinite potential experiences available for all of us to experience. And everything that you embrace, every experience you have, every thought you have, has an infinite life to it. You set energy out into motion, somebody else can pull on that energy at some point.
But I think this is being a little bit more literal than that, in the sense that the great teachers have left behind great writings, great teachings. I mean, the four Gospels of Jesus, the words of Jesus, these thoughts have had a tremendously positive effect on the rest of the world. The
Yeah.
poem you mentioned, Rumi. Sure, he wrote thousands of poems. You know, he's gone, but his thoughts are still there. We can still learn from
But
them.
the energy of those thoughts is still alive.
Still there, 'cause
Right.
you
That's
can
the
feel
point.
strength
The
of it.
energy is
Right,
still
but
there.
because he wrote them down, you know, those thoughts are still.
Even if you've never read the book, even if you never read or heard of Jesus Christ, you alter your frequency, you can tune into those energies without ever even hearing about him. They're there. And you can draw on that energy. You can also draw on negativity,
Yeah.
working the opposite. This is why fear is not without power in this world. That, of course, talks about that too. It's an illusion, yes. It's not real. But it's not powerless. Succumb to a fear and feed it. And then tell me you didn't experience it. I'll guarantee you that you're gonna, every fear you feed into, more energy into, you're going to create more anxiety, more stress. And you can't escape living that out.
I think it'd be fun to watch a really scary movie, because I get scared very easy out, and observe it and go, it's all an illusion. And try and get beyond the fear of it.
There are 4 more paragraphs in the next section when you jump on.
Yeah, let's jump right in there. Why not? You wanna jump on number 1?
Okay. Who are God's teachers? A teacher of God is anyone who chooses to be one. His qualifications consist solely in this. Somehow, somewhere, he has made a deliberate choice in which he did not see his interests as apart from someone else's. Once he has done that, his road is established and his direction is sure. A light has entered the darkness. It may be a single light, but that is enough. He has entered an agreement with God, even if he does not yet believe in him. He has become a bringer of salvation. He has become a teacher of God.
Wow, another big one.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let's say this. If God is all there is and God is love, and that is light, where does the dark come from?
From within us.
From the fears,
Right.
right? So what we just heard, the light is just an opening that, okay, my ego-based thoughts, my thoughts, for a moment, these ego fear-based thoughts, I'm having a willingness to say, maybe there's another way. That's bringing light into that darkness. That's what that's saying.
Cool. Excellent.
You know when the Bible says knock and the door shall be opened? That's the knocking. That's all. That's the beginning step. That's all you have to do. Okay, I'm willing to see something that I really don't know. I'm willing. Just show me. That's all. And that's what that's saying. A light has entered the darkness. It may be a single light, but it's enough. That's all you gotta know.
I like how it says you don't even have to believe in God. You know,
Right.
You entered into agreement even if you've not yet believed in Him. You know something just cracked. You know,
Mhm.
you felt it.
Yep. Yep. You wanna go on to the next paragraph?
Oh, sure. They come from all over the world. They come from all religions and from no religion. They are the ones who have answered. The call is universal. It goes on all the time, everywhere. It calls for teachers to speak it and redeem the world. Many hear it, but few will answer. Yet it is all a matter of time. Everyone will answer in the end, but the end can be a long, long way off. It is because of this that the plan of the teachers was established. Their function is to save time. Each one begins as a single light, but with the call at its center, it is a light that cannot be limited. and each one saves 1,000 years of time as the world judges it. To the call itself, time has no meaning.
Wow, see, now it's covering all the bases what Gary was talking about, you know, in terms of we have eternity to do this, yes.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be a lot of needless suffering if we elect to keep staying in the same vibration of fear. We can forego a lot of that by waking up now. We good? You wanna go on, Peggy, or?
Sure. There is a course for every teacher of God. The form of the course varies greatly. So do the particular teaching aids involved. But the content of the course never changes. Its central theme is always, God's Son is guiltless, and in his innocence is his salvation. It can be taught by actions or thoughts, in words or soundlessly, in any language or in no language, or any place or time or manner. It does not matter who the teacher was before he heard the call. He has become a savior by his answering. He has seen someone else as himself. He has therefore found his own salvation and the salvation of the world. In his rebirth is the world reborn.
Beautiful stuff, huh?
Isn't it?
Well, what it's saying is, what you keep teaching us is that we're not guilty. And instead of talking of God's Son as guiltless, he's meaning we're guiltless.
Right, you and everyone else. Now, one of the things that the Course also talks about when it talks about guilt is, when you are seeing the real picture, everyone's innocent. You can't see everyone innocent except for that one jerk that you can't get past. It has to be all encompassing, or you're still lost within the illusion.
Well, when do you think, if it's at the age of 20, you found you were very judgmental, and at the age of 40, you've studied something like this, and you recognize it, and you look at people different, and you may not be where everybody's the same, but you've come a long way. I would think that you're at least elevated your
Depending on the path you're on. You know, you remember where we just read where it said something about everyone has their own curriculum?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where someone is at 40, you may be at one point and somebody else had lived 40 years and had no experience.
Right. Well,
Okay.
that's why I was using the
Yeah.
example of somebody that's made some, well, improvements, I don't know, well, you know, that's focused more on an understanding of it all.
If
as
they
opposed to
chose.
somebody, right. I mean, there might be somebody at 20 that understands it better than a 40-year-old, and there might be somebody at 40 who's never taken an interest and will never catch on at
Sure.
80.
And there may be some like Christ talked about when he said, people come into this world empty, and for the most part, they're choosing to leave empty. Anyone who has an attachment to the world and the world of form and the ego-based reality and doesn't want to let that go may leave at the same vibration they came in with, or even lower. It's not impossible for someone to come in at one vibration and get caught up in the world and actually go lower in that vibration than they started with. It's possible. We have eternity to play at this game now. And through the choices you're making, you are altering your frequency. You're raising it or lowering it. Through every choice you make. Somebody once said to me, there's no such thing as going backwards when it comes to evolution and the evolution of consciousness. And I thought I'd say, you know what? That's not true. It's not true. We can choose to live spiritually awakened, and we can choose to go back into the world. Everything's a choice. And if I choose to go back into the world, and I was already at a certain frequency, and I say, well, you know what? I have eternity to play. I'm going to go back into the world for a while. Haven't I lowered my vibration back down? Obviously I have. I can do that. It's a choice. And that's all I want to keep reiterating is you have a choice, and you have a choice to fully wake up if you choose. Don't put limits. Remember I said many, many times, don't ever put a limit on where you can go. You can wake up. Course will tell you you can do it. It's within the spectrum of creation for you to wake up. Right here, right now. Don't tell anyone, don't let anyone in this world tell you otherwise, that you're not capable and you have to grow and ascend in steps. You don't have to. And we didn't cover it. At the very, very beginning of this, the Course says this: there are no degrees of difficulty when it comes to a miracle. No degrees of difficulty. What is that saying? There are no degrees of difficulty. I can wake up now. I don't have to build into this because your perfected state was created by God. Did God ever take that away from you?
No, you still have it.
You still got it.
Still got it.
You got it. All you have to do is reclaim it. You gave it away to your ego. You let your ego rule your thoughts. You let your ego establish for you a complete thought system that was fear-based. You did that. When you take responsibility for doing that, you can now come back to reclaiming who you are. You now are empowered because no one and nothing did that to you. You were encouraged. You were influenced. You were taught by certain people in the world. You were taught by your parents. You were taught by your everyone around you. But you made the choice. And if you made the choice to do that, you can make the choice to do this. Anyway, where were we?
Oh, wait a minute, before we leave that paragraph. What I like about that paragraph, and it says, it does not matter who the teacher was before he heard the call. He has become a savior by his answering. I remember, as a kid or whatever, I'd hear other adults talking about, oh yeah, sure, the guy turns his life around in prison and now, he's changed. But their ego got the best of them, saying that it was all just a front so that he could get out of jail earlier. You know
Right.
what I mean? Not really seeing that, maybe this guy is believing what he believes and he just was reborn
Sure.
in the prison.
Sure. I would say many people, and as a matter of fact, I would say somebody incarcerated, somebody in a little cell, has probably a better chance. I'd say maybe even a better chance than the average person who's working a 9-to-5 job out there, raising a family and doing all of the stuff.
He's just so preoccupied with.
Preoccupied and all the distractions. This guy's sitting in a cell, day after day. He's sitting there, got a lot of time on his hands.
Right.
Possible.
Maybe he's thinking about the fact that he did commit a crime. Maybe
Right.
he did hurt somebody. Maybe he does feel remorse.
Really?
All of
He
these
wants
things
forgiveness.
can spur somebody
Certainly.
to serious reflection.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So I look and I say, now, if in fact that does spur that, and that individual does wake up, being incarcerated was the most beneficial thing that individual could have experienced.
Biggest gift he would have ever got.
So who are we to judge somebody who's off to jail?
Well, that's what I was
Judge them?
hearing,
Yeah.
judgment part.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. You can't go there unless you are omniscient, and I haven't met the person yet. Not yet. So, we're going to finish up here at number 4, Gary?
This is a manual for a special curriculum intended for teachers of a special form of the universal course. There are many thousands of other forms, all with the same outcome. They merely save time. Yet it is time alone that winds on wearily, and the world is very tired now. It is old and worn and without hope. There was never a question of outcome, for what can change the will of God? But time, with its illusions of change and death, wears out the world and all things in it. Yet time has an ending. And it is this that the teachers of God are appointed to bring about. For time is in their hands. Such was their choice, and it is given them.
Mm.
Things that make it go,
Mm.
Time has an ending, huh? Time
Right.
has an ending.
Time has an ending. Eternity doesn't, does it? Time has an ending.
This time is linear.
Time is linear. Okay, let's put that. Time is linear.
So when and how does time end?
When does it end?
It ends when you choose to stop thinking linear.
There you go. Wow, see, I know we're so far ahead of this course. Look at that. You know, remember what we talked about, Einstein? The past, the present, and the future is nothing but an optical delusion of consciousness, albeit a persistent one. If it's an optical delusion of consciousness, is it real?
No.
It's not real. It's fear-based. False evidence appearing real. That's what linear time is. False evidence appearing real. Eternity is not limited to linear time. It's all time collected as one moment. That's eternity. That's reality. That's your true home. Your home is in eternity. That's what the Course would tell you. Your home is not rooted in linear time. Your home is not based in a fear-based state where death plays itself out. You're an eternal being. And it's all simple stuff.
Well, thank you so much, Bruce, for suggesting that we jump into this book. It's fabulous.
Isn't it a great book?
Fabulous.
And look, everybody already had it.
Right?
Isn't that
You
great?
got a good teacher.
No, but what I'm saying is you already had your books.
Oh.
See? Isn't that great? No, I remember I looked at this book, I said, wow, it says, yeah, I'd like to say I wrote that book, but I mean, it's the same message, it's different, written in a different way. I just couldn't understand when I watched these groups and then people reading it, and it didn't make sense to them. So, well, how can that make sense? Look at this. It's crystal.
So simple.
It's so simple, see? It's crystal. It's written in everyday layman's terms. Even I can read this. I'm not even a reader.
Who did write this book?
Well, if you read the beginning, Helen Schuckman, did you read that about Helen Schuckman?
Yeah.
She was a
No, I just don't know,
psychologist,
I forgot.
a teacher, Columbia, and she started channeling. Came out of the air. She didn't know what to make of it, and she told her associate. He told her, well, just start taking notes. Then he started taking notes, and here it is. It's all channeled. Now, from what I remember reading somewhere, I don't know if it was in this book that I read it, but from what I remember reading somewhere, she never accepted this. She never, for herself, personally accepted
Is
this.
she still alive, do you know?
That I don't know either.
I don't-
You'd have to, I have no
I
idea.
only know
But in
people
a
that-
sense, she was a perfect channel because she had a very, very, very trained mind.
Mm.
Because she was a PhD, she
Mhm.
was a medical doctor of some kind at Columbia Presbyterian.